Six of India's World Cup winners are among the players retained by their franchises ahead of WPL 2026. But Australia captain Alyssa Healy, former Australia serial winning captain Meg Lanning, player of the tournament at the T20 World Cup Amelia Kerr, and player of the tournament at the ODI World Cup Deepti Sharma all will be heading into the mega auction.
It's no surprise that the two sides who've finished in the top two in each of the first three editions have gone in with the maximum number of retentions, that's 5, ahead of the WPL mega auction. Mumbai Indians have predictably gone with Harmanpreet Kaur and Amanjot Kaur, the two World Cup winners, as their first choice Indian picks. Remember, if you've got 5 players among your retention list, you have to have one uncapped Indian signing, and that's exactly what they've done in picking G. Kamalini, who was one of the stars in India's Under-19 World Cup campaign last year, or rather earlier this year. So she's their uncapped Indian pick. The overseas picks wouldn't have been that straightforward. They've got so many options to choose from. Chloe Treon has been superb for South Africa in the World Cup. Nadine de Klerk was excellent as a finisher. They've got Amelia Kerr, a superstar in her own right. But I suspect the choices that they've gone with are someone who no one can really debate about, because they've gone in with Nat Silverbrunt from England and the West Indies superstar Hayley Matthews.
Some pretty interesting retention picks made by Delhi Capitals ahead of the auction, which also means they have let go of the legendary captain Meg Lanning, just 33 years of age, not that much. Led them to the final in all 3 seasons after leading the points table in all 3 seasons, but she's not a part of the plans anymore. Will they look for a new captain in this auction, or will they hand over the reins to the current vice captain? Jemmy Rodrigues just won the World Cup with India, just 25 years of age, has captaincy experience for Mumbai in the domestic circuit at the under-19 level as well, is the question we will wait to be answered at the auction. Shafali Verma, the obvious choice to be picked. She was the top run scorer in the last WPL among Indian batters, hard-hitting opener at the top. Why would you let her go? Nikki Prasad is the uncapped India player they have retained. Promising player with the bat, under-19 World Cup winning player, and she led them to a victory with a composed innings in the last WPL, so promising player for them. And since there's no Lanning, the 2 overseas players they picked to be retained were Marzan Cap and Annabel Sutherland, both all-rounders, both solid batters. One can bowl with the new ball, one has great variations up her sleeve, especially for the middle overs. So a pretty good package held back by Delhi Capitals.
RCB do have a WPL crown to their name from 2024, and they've decided to retain 4 players ahead of the mega auction. 3 of them were fairly straightforward picks: captain Smriti Mandhana, the elite Elise Perry, and wicketkeeper finisher Richa Ghosh. For their 4th pick, they've gone with Shriyanka Patil, which automatically meant they could not consider a second overseas pick, with rules stipulating that any combination of 5 retained players needing to have 1 uncapped player. Now, Shriyanka, of course, is a capped Indian, and while she missed out on WPL 2025 due to injury, her stocks are high and she's touted as a future star of Indian cricket, which is perhaps why RCB prioritized her ahead of the likes of overseas stars such as Sophie Devine, Sophie Molyneux, and Georgia Wareham.
Gujarat Giants have a distinctly Australian flavour to their mix this time around. Michael Klinger, the coach, is set to continue in his role, and they've retained Ash Gardner and Beth Mooney. Now, Gardner captained them in 2025, so it's likely that they may look for continuity because they were a lot better in the 3rd season than they were in the first 2 editions. So possibly that's the line of thinking there, and also the fact that Gardner is a proven performer. They've also retained Beth Mooney, who is a bit of a surprise because that means that they haven't retained 2 other superstars in the game: Laura Woolward from South Africa, who led them to the World Cup final, and Phoebe Litchfield, one of the most young and exciting openers in world cricket today. But remember, because they've already picked 2 overseas players, they cannot use the right to match card for one of those 2 if they want to. The other signing that they would have been really tempted to go with is Kashvi Gautam, the young Indian seam bowling all-rounder. I suspect they would have still gone ahead and picked her had she been uncapped, but because Kashvi has played a couple of games and she's capped, the salary cap may have perhaps not allowed them to retain her, but don't be surprised if they go for her at the mega auction.
UP Warriors have landed massive surprises by not retaining Alyssa Healy, their captain, Deepti Sharma, their vice captain, and some of the other big names because they have retained only one player, the uncapped Shweta Shehrawat, who still looked like a work in progress with the bat when she played in the WPL. But that means that UP Warriors go into the auction with as many as 4 RTM options, the biggest purse of 14.5 crore rupees. Still, leaving out players like Elisa Healy is a big surprise. Deepti Sharma, among the bigger players in the Indian circuit, especially from UP, if they wanted some local flavor, she was the one they would have retained, but clearly there are some plan in the works. Also a big surprise that they did not retain Sophie Eccleston, left-arm spinner, among the best white ball bowlers in the world, and spinners are always handy in Indian conditions, can do some batting as well. Really surprised that they also did not retain Chanel Henry. She opened the bowling a few times, but it was with her batting when she took her 6 hitting to a new level in the last WPL, finished with a strike rate of nearly 196. But they have not retained her as well, or even Kranti Gaur, World Cup winning India, young promising fast bowler. Alana King also had a great World Cup just now for Australia, a leg spinner. We'll have to see in the auction what they do, how many of these players they bring back with their 4 RTM options, or how many of them they keep away from their squad. This team is likely to have the most interesting auction coming up.